Okay, so journaling for stress relief. Really diving into that today. Got some interesting research here.
Oh, it's fascinating stuff, really.
Yeah, I always thought it was, one of those write a gratitude list kind of things.
Right, right.
But this is different. This is like actual science behind it.
It is. It is. There's real physiological stuff happening when you write. It's not just, fluffy self-help stuff.
So, like, what's actually happening in our brains when we journal? How does
Mm.
that help with stress?
Well, think about it. When you're stressed, your body's pumping out cortisol.
Right. The fight or flight hormone.
Exactly. And chronically high cortisol, not good. Leads to all kinds of health issues, mental and physical.
Yeah, no, I've heard that. Stress headaches are just the start.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Studies show that expressive writing, like really digging deep into those emotions, it can actually lower those cortisol levels significantly.
Really? Just from writing?
Yeah. There was this one study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology. They had people write about traumatic experiences
Oh, wow.
for just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes. Seriously.
That's it, 4 days in a row.
That's, what, less time than I spend scrolling on my phone?
And guess what? Their cortisol levels were significantly lower than the control group. Measurable physical changes from a few short writing sessions.
Okay, that's kind of blowing my mind right now.
Mm.
But how does that actually work? Is it just getting stuff off your chest, or is there something more to it?
It's definitely part of it, that release. But journaling, it's more than that. It's like holding a mirror up to your thoughts, you know? You start seeing patterns you wouldn't otherwise. Like maybe you're super irritable when you haven't slept enough.
Oh, for sure.
Or your anxiety goes through the roof before big meetings.
100%.
So you become a detective of your own stress, right?
I like that.
You figure out those triggers, and then you can actually do something about them. You're not just reacting anymore, you're managing.
So it's not just about venting, it's about figuring out the why behind the stress.
Exactly. And that's huge. That's where the real change happens. And then there's the whole thing with gratitude.
Oh, here we go, the gratitude list.
The way?
3 things I'm grateful for. Sunshine, coffee.
Right. We've all been there. But it's interesting, right? Because journaling, it's not one size fits all. Gratitude is great, don't get me wrong. Super helpful for cultivating positivity, which of course helps with stress.
Yeah.
But there are tons of other techniques out there, each with its own benefit.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely interested. What else is there besides gratitude lists?
Well, there's one that sounds kind of intimidating, but it can be surprisingly powerful.
Let's hear it.
Stream of consciousness writing.
Stream of consciousness. Okay, I'm going to need you to break that down for me.
Basically, just write whatever comes to mind, no filter, no editing, just let it flow.
So no pressure to sound smart or profound.
None whatsoever. It's more about the process than the product. Just getting those thoughts out of your head and onto the page.
Okay, I can see how that could be helpful just to clear your head.
Yeah.
But I've got to be honest, sometimes I struggle to even write a grocery list. Any tips for people like me who kind of freeze up when they see a blank page?
Oh, writer's block. Believe me, it happens to the best of us. But don't let that stop you. Routine is key. Even just 5 minutes a day, maybe first thing in the morning or right before bed.
Make it a habit.
Exactly. And use prompts if you need to. What's on my mind right now? What am I grateful for today? Simple stuff.
See, that's helpful. I think I always put too much pressure on myself with journaling. Like it had to be this big, profound thing. But even just jotting down a few thoughts, that can make a difference.
Absolutely. It's your journal, right? So make it work for you.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we've talked about stress relief, but what about other mental health benefits? Is there more to it than just stress?
Oh, there's so much more. Think of it like this.
I'm listening.
Every time you journal, you're having a conversation with yourself. Your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences. And in those conversations, you might uncover things you never realized before. Patterns, insights.
Like, well, what kind of things?
Could be anything, really. Negative thought patterns that are holding you back.
Oh, yeah.
Relationship stuff. Maybe you realize you need more alone time than you're getting.
Wow. Yeah.
Or maybe you discover you're way more creative than you give yourself credit for.
So it's not just about venting. It's about understanding yourself better.
Exactly. And as you understand yourself better, you start making choices that really align with who you are.
That makes sense.
That's where that self-acceptance comes in, the self-compassion.
Wow. That's pretty powerful. It's like journaling can be a roadmap almost
Yeah.
for personal growth.
It's a way to connect with that inner voice, process those experiences, gain those insights. It can really help you live a more fulfilling life.
Okay, this is all resonating with me, but I got to be honest. There's one thing that always makes me hesitate about journaling.
What's that?
The privacy thing. It feels so personal, writing down your deepest thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
Like, what if someone reads it?
Oh, yeah, I get it. It's a common concern. It feels vulnerable putting yourself out there like that. But the good news is there are things you can do to address those privacy concerns.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I really want to give this whole journaling thing a try, but I need to feel secure knowing that what I write is truly private.
Absolutely. You have every right to that privacy. One option is those password-protected digital journals. Lots of great apps out there.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about using an app.
Yeah, they're super convenient. Some of them even let you add photos, voice recordings. It's pretty cool.
I'll have to check some of those out. But what about, if you're someone who likes the feel of pen and paper?
Of course. If you're old school like that, no problem. You can get a journal with a lock and key.
True, true.
Or just find a really good hiding spot.
Yeah, that works too. But, thinking about people starting to journal, I bet a lot of them give up after a week or two. Why does that happen?
It's like any new habit, right? We start with the best intentions, then life gets in the way.
Oh, true.
But with journaling, I think one of the biggest reasons people quit is they put too much pressure on themselves.
Oh, I can see that.
Like they have to write every single day, and it has to be this big, profound masterpiece.
Yeah, that'll scare anyone off. That doesn't have to be like that.
No way. There are no rules in journaling. Find what works for you. If you miss a day or a week even, who cares? Just pick it back up when you can.
Okay, that takes the pressure off. So, not aiming for perfection, just consistency.
Exactly. And remember, even short bursts of journaling can be beneficial. 5 minutes is better than nothing.
I like the sound of that. I think I've definitely been guilty of setting the bar too high for myself.
It happens. But the more relaxed you are about it, the more likely you are to stick with it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about being consistent, not being so hard on ourselves. What are some other tips to make this a regular thing? How do we actually make journaling a habit that sticks?
Well, one thing that really helps is making it enjoyable. Like actually something you look forward to doing.
Ooh, I like that. So how do we do that? Make it fun.
It depends. What do you enjoy? Maybe try some different colored pens, get some nice stationery.
Ooh, yeah.
Create a little space for yourself where you feel relaxed.
Light a candle, put on some music.
Exactly. Maybe even have a cup of tea while you're journaling.
I love that. Make it a whole ritual.
Exactly. It's about self-care, Nurturing yourself, connecting with yourself.
This has been so eye-opening, honestly. I had no idea there was so much to journaling.
It's amazing what you can discover when you start digging a little deeper.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I do have one more question about privacy.
Sure, what's up?
What if you're really worried about someone finding your journal? Like, really, really worried. Those password-protected apps are great, but what if you need, like, an extra layer of security?
I hear you. You're talking about next-level privacy. Well, if you're really concerned, you could try using a code or a cipher.
A code, like a secret code.
Exactly. It can be simple, like shifting letters in the alphabet or something more elaborate. That way, even if someone finds your journal, they won't be able to read it.
That's actually pretty clever. I like that.
You could even try writing in a different way. Like, instead of a traditional diary format, explore other genres. Poetry, fiction.
Interesting.
It's a way to process your emotions and experiences without feeling so exposed.
Like you're disguising your thoughts within a different form of writing.
Exactly. Plus, you might even discover a hidden talent for creative writing.
I'm into it. This is amazing. I feel like I've learned so much already.
It's just the tip of the iceberg. Journaling is such a versatile tool.
You've definitely inspired me to give it another try.
That's what I like to hear. Remember, be kind to yourself, approach it with curiosity, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Curiosity. Okay. I can do that. This has been so helpful. You've totally changed how I think about journaling. But you said it's not a quick fix, so how long does it take realistically to see those stress-busting benefits?
That's the question, right? It's like any new habit, you got to give it time. Consistency is key.
So no overnight miracles.
Not really. It's more about the cumulative effect over time. Like, think of it like exercise.
Okay.
One workout, not going to magically transform your body.
Right.
But stick with it week after week, month after month. You start seeing those changes. Journaling's the same way. It's a practice, not a one-time solution.
Okay. I like that. Instead of chasing those instant results, it's about trusting the process.
Exactly. And just like with exercise, some days will be easier than others.
Yeah, for sure.
Some days the words will flow. Other days you might just stare at the page for a while.
Oh, I know that feeling.
The important thing is to be kind to yourself. Keep showing up, even when it feels hard.
It's so true.
Mm.
We put so much pressure on ourselves, even with self-care. Like it's supposed to be effortless.
Right, like a spa day every day.
Exactly. But sometimes self-care takes effort, especially when you're already stressed.
100%. Sometimes it's about showing up for yourself even when it's messy.
Love that. It's a journey.
Absolutely. And as you go on that journey, you might find that journaling does even more for you than just stress relief.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
It can help you process emotions better, become a better communicator. Some people even find it boosts their creativity.
Wow. Seriously.
It's true. And it can even help strengthen your relationships.
All that from journaling. That's wild.
It's pretty remarkable, and the best part is it's accessible to anyone. You don't need any special skills or equipment, just a pen and paper or your phone even, and the willingness to show up for yourself.
I love that. Okay, so I'm feeling super inspired, I gotta say. I'm ready to dust off my old journal. But before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for people who are just starting out? What should they keep in mind?
Don't overthink it. Approach it with curiosity, a little bit of experimentation. Don't be afraid to try different techniques, write about whatever comes to mind.
Okay, so there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Exactly. It's your journal. Make it your own. Have fun with it and see what works.
I love that. No judgment, just exploration.
Exactly. And even if you only have a few minutes, jotting down a couple of thoughts, reflections, it can make a difference. It's about creating that space for yourself, prioritizing your well-being, even in small ways.
Okay, this has been huge for me. Seriously, I feel like I have a whole new understanding of journaling.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, journaling, it's a gift you give yourself.
A gift, yeah.
A dedicated space for self-discovery, stress relief, personal growth. Embrace it.
I love that. A gift, not a chore. Okay, I think I'm finally ready to ditch the guilt and embrace the joy of journaling. But if I'm being honest, I'm still a little nervous about that blank page staring back at me. Any last-minute tips for overcoming writer's block, especially when it comes to journaling about stress?
Oh, writer's block. It happens to everyone. Don't let it stop you. One of the best things you can do, especially when you're stressed, is to start with a prompt. Something specific to tap into those feelings.
Okay, yeah, like what? Give me some examples.
Sure. Try something like, what's been weighing on my mind lately? Or what are 3 things that have been causing me stress this week?
Okay, just listing those stressors out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's incredibly helpful even just to get them out of your head and onto the page.
So it's like you're giving them less power over you when you can actually see them.
Exactly. It's about externalizing those worries. And once you've identified them, then you can start to explore them a little deeper. Ask yourself, why is this causing me stress? What can I do to manage it? Who can I reach out to for support?
Those are really helpful prompts. I like how it's not just venting, it's like problem solving almost.
Precisely. Journaling can be a powerful tool for identifying and processing those stressors, but also for developing coping mechanisms and coming up with a plan of action.
I'm so glad we talked about this. I was stuck thinking that journaling was only about emotional release. It can be so empowering when you use it for problem solving, for personal growth.
Absolutely. It's about harnessing those insights and using them to create positive change.
This is totally changing how I see journaling. I'm into it. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but as one more question.
Shoot.
We've talked about emotional benefits, mental benefits. What about physical benefits? Are there any?
That's a great question. A lot of people don't realize this, but there's actually growing evidence suggesting that journaling can have a positive impact on your physical health as well.
Really? I had no idea. Tell me more.
Well, we talked earlier about cortisol, right?
Yeah, the stress hormone.
Right. And how too much cortisol, over time, it's not good for you.
Definitely not.
Well, journaling, by helping you process and manage that stress, it can actually lower those cortisol levels, which then has this ripple effect on your overall health.
So by reducing stress, journaling can actually improve our physical well-being.
Exactly. Some studies show that people who journal regularly, especially expressive writing, they tend to have stronger immune systems, lower blood pressure, even experience less pain.
Wow, that's amazing. I knew stress could impact physical health, but I had no idea journaling could have such a tangible effect.
It's pretty remarkable, right? It just goes to show how interconnected our minds and bodies really are.
That's for sure. I'm starting to think of journaling as a superpower, almost, for overall well-being.
I love that.
Okay, this conversation has been so insightful. I've learned so much about journaling and how to actually make it a habit this time.
It's been my pleasure. Just remember to find what works for you, be kind to yourself, and have fun with it.
I will. Curiosity, self-compassion, and joy, right?
Exactly.
Curiosity, self-compassion, and joy. I'm going to write that down seriously. But I'm already thinking ahead here. Life gets pretty hectic. How do I actually make this a habit? Make journaling stick this time?
It's the million-dollar question, right? With any new habit,
Mm.
I think the key is making it as easy as possible for yourself. Like, it should fit into your life, not be this extra thing you have to force.
Okay, so less about willpower, more about strategy. I can get behind that.
Exactly. Like, one super simple trick. Keep your journal out in the open.
Instead of hiding it away.
Yeah. On your nightstand, your desk, wherever you'll see it, it's like a little visual cue, a reminder.
Out of sight, out of mind. Right. I like that. It's more inviting when it's right there.
Exactly. And speaking of inviting, try this. Pair your journaling with something you already do every day.
Like what?
Your morning coffee, for example. Or maybe a few minutes of reflection before bed.
Oh, that's smart. Attach it to an existing routine.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get creative with the format, too. If pen and paper feels too formal, try voice journaling.
Wait, like recording yourself?
Yeah, or even video journaling. It's a thing.
Wild. I've never even heard that.
It can be really powerful, actually.
I bet. Less pressure than writing everything down perfectly, too.
Exactly. It all comes back to finding what works for you. Don't be afraid to experiment. Have some fun with it.
Permission to experiment. I love it.
Oh,
Okay, you've officially turned me from intimidated to excited about this whole journaling thing.
that's what I like to hear. And remember, even if you only have a few minutes, jot down a couple thoughts. That's still something.
It all counts, right?
Exactly. Carving out that space, that's what matters.
Amazing. This has been such a game changer. Seriously, thank you.
My pleasure, truly. Don't forget, journaling is a gift you give to yourself.
A gift, not a chore. Okay, I'm ready. Time to embrace the journal. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.